Hey guys, welcome to the Sim Racing Paddock. I'm William Marsh, and we are going to be taking a look at the upcoming Sim Racing System season with the Mazda MX-5 Cup. So, a lot of people have been excited for this upcoming season, asking me what cars, what tracks we're going to be racing at. So, I decided I wanted to try something a little different. I'm going to do this sort of live stream preview showcasing the car at the different tracks that are going to be over the course of the season. So we can scroll down and you will see it's in a few days. So, where is it? Hold on a sec. Why am I missing it? Oh, they finally changed the logo. I wish they used wine with the black background, but I'll talk to them about that to make it a little easier. But for the past few seasons, even though I changed my logo, they had been using my old one. So that's why I missed it. So in 2 days, 10 hours, that is when the the kickoff is going to be at Road America. Interesting choice for first week. So we are going to have a 6-week format and kicking off at Road America, going to Okayama, the Piper circuit, which should be familiar with a lot of iRacing racers. And then the Brands Hatch Indy layout should be good for some tight, close racing. Paul Ricard, the WTCC layout. That will be interesting because that's a track I have virtually no experience on. And then Silverstone and Red Bull Ring will be rounding out the series. So I'm excited for this. And also, I just want to give a quick run through for people who might be interested in doing this for the first time. So basically, what you do is you create an account on Sim Racing System. The reason I wanted to do this 2 days in advance is it needs to be manually approved by a moderator. So if you are wanting to take part in the series, I recommend signing up as soon as possible. Link below in the description, www.simracingsystem.com. And then you'll create the account. Once you are approved, you will need to go and download the Sim Racing System app, and then all the tracks and cars that are needed for the championship. So because this is using the MX-5 Cup, you will need to own the Japanese pack DLC. And because this is using Brands Hatch, you will also need the Dream Pack 3 DLC. So those are 2 DLCs that you will need to own to be able to participate in all of the races in this series. You can take part in other races in the series, provided you have the track. So there are specific versions of each track that are used. So in the forum, you will find the downloads. First, Assetto Corsa apps. That is where you will download the app for Sim Racing System. You download Assetto Corsa required app. So this is what you will need to download. Where's the link though? Hold on a sec. Okay, so you can barely see it, but this right here. So you click on here, and then you will click on the SRS AC apps, download, boom, it's there. And then you will open up the SRS apps.zip. And then you will drag that into your root Assetto Corsa folder. So I have a quick access folder that takes me all to my Steam apps. And then you can double click on Assetto Corsa. Boom, you're in the root folder. And drag, drop, boom. As simple as that to install the app. And then we can go back. Also, I want to mention, if you want to make custom liveries and transfer it into Sim Racing System, you can do the Assetto Corsa skin transfer app. And you can transfer skins through that utility. And then you will scroll down a little further and current series downloads. That will be where all the downloads are that you need for the cars and tracks. They made it a little more complicated than it was in the past though, but still it's pretty simple. So you will have all the cars and tracks that are in this list. So we will go back down to the MX-5 Cup. Where is it? Here it is. Look at the list. We need to download Okayama Piper, I think, and Paul Ricard. Those are the two tracks I do not have in my Assetto Corsa installation. So we will go down to Okayama International Circuit. Takes you to the race department link. Download now. Boom. I'll just download in a few seconds. And then we will also download Paul Ricard version 0.9.7 and have that installed. And it's basically as simple as that. You download the cars and tracks you need, and also you can have just the different variety of content. Dan. Oh, hey, Dan. Cool to see you in here. This series will kick off Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Time right now. So, Paul Ricard, this you will, or it says install, copy the new folder Paul Ricard into folder tracks, typo right there. So, we will do that in a second. And I guess this is just different weather settings. Okay. So we go into content, tracks, and then drag Paul Ricard and drop in. But Dan, I didn't recognize you at first because you were originally Dan's Racing and Simulations, right? And system, I think that goes into root, yeah. What's in this? Okay, specific post-processing filters. If there's something you're unsure, look into the folders. I'd say better safe than sorry. So Okayama, we will install that into the track folder as well. And I want to make sure that we have Road America because that's kicking off the first week. Okay, I guess I did have Okayama. Road America, yes. And we are going to do some test driving on the circuit with the car. And we'll just get a basic idea on how this performs. Hilton, thank you for subscribing. Thank you very much. And of course my Steam is acting up, so we'll need to just do the right click method. So, random question. Have you guys had this issue where on occasion this Steam window just totally freezes up and you can't click on anything? Because I've been having that the past couple months ever since they did the Steam redesign, I think. So let's see. We will fire this up. Okay, it's not just me. Thank you. So we will do some test driving with the Miata and see how it performs. I'm interested in seeing how it's going to turn out with Road America because Road America has so many long straights, and I think this car might have a fixed gear ratio. Okay, I like this livery. I think I might go with this one. I'm a little too ill-informed to create my own livery so far. Maybe someday I'll make some of my own. Maybe they'll just be very basic too. I have Photoshop, why not use it? So let's go to our Road Atlanta, Road America. Yeah, Scuderia, that's the tricky thing. The tricky part with having this is basically when I originally agreed to this partnership with Handbrake, it was because there wasn't much in the way of organized league racing like this nature in Assetto Corsa for Americans. So sim racing system was getting more and more popular in Europe, but it wasn't as popular in the USA. So he wanted to get the series a little more popular and get a little more recognition in the United States. So they were asking people like myself, Sean Cole, and others to really try pitching this new format. And I think it really pays off. I think it really does. It adds that sort of progression system that people are wanting. And hold on, I need to change my settings in SimiCube because still set in R Factor 2 settings. So let's go to Assetto Corsa. Actually, I'm going to use my SimRacing Garage recommended preset. So SimRacing Garage, he had a couple good notes on setting direct drive wheels for Assetto Corsa and other sims. So I took that and created my own baselines. I'm going to be working on my own guide for setting up direct drive wheels, specifically open sim wheels, and I think that can be good. Okay, my brake is a little on the touchier side today. MGU hybrid, I didn't touch anything. Well, let's see how this goes. So, as mentioned, it looks like the gearing is a little on the shorter side, but I think that'll be good because, or not short side, on the longer side, which I think will be good for drafting. So I think drafting will have its own element in how this will behave and what things will go. Dan, I'm cautiously optimistic for, or hold on a second. Why is... okay. So continuing, my thoughts on Fanatic's direct drive wheel. I'm pretty excited for it because there are some elements of it that are going to be a little bit on the revolutionary side on the direct drive systems. So for example, that LCD, actually it's the OLED display on the front of the unit. I think that's going to be really cool for showing telemetry, elements like that. I'm hoping it runs independent of displays on the wheels, so you can have something showing on that OLED display while you are having your telemetry and stuff on the wheel rim, if that's available. But honestly, one of the things I'm most excited for, if you are part of the Fanatic ecosystem, I am excited for the ability to plug Fanatic peripherals in. Because the thing is, with how a direct drive wheel works is you're using at least one USB, possibly two if you do the recommended plug 2 in, one for firmware updates, one for one for just USB connection to the computer. And then add another USB for a rim. You have to have that external cable on an OSW. On an AccuForce you don't, at least. That's nice. But on an open sim wheel, on a Leo Bodnar sim steering, you're going to need to use at least 2 USB ports if you are wanting buttons. That means 2 USB devices. Add a shifter in, that's 3. Add pedals, that's 4. And if you want handbrake, that's 5. Some sims are only able to handle 4 USB devices. GTR2 comes to mind. So keep that in mind, that you are possibly going to run into issues if you're using an open sim wheel, or possibly if you are using something along the lines of, say, the sim steering, or something that requires two other devices, at least to function as a wheel. So keep that in mind. And yeah, but Fanatec, what they do is they allow everything to be plugged into the base unit and maintain still high fidelity. So with the with what Fanatec does, they allow you to consolidate everything into one USB, and that allows you to have more overhead for other devices. So that's what I like. Random call sign, by the way, just saying, it's not a diesel, it's a TSI, not a TDI. Random call sign just loves to give me so much crap on my GTI. Bottom line, it's a fun car, and yeah, likely gonna get my clutch replaced on it this week though. So yeah, let's talk about Road America. Road America is a very high-speed circuit. You can tell that, except it's also mixed in with tight corners. So this long, straight, sweeping corners, boom. So you gotta slow down. I slow down maybe a bit too much. Gotta find the system. Here it's a little sweeper. Don't touch the brakes there. That's what I found. Here, maybe drag the brake in a little bit to pitch the car in. Maybe want to take that in third. But yeah, this is a pretty fun car, all things considered. I enjoy it. Gearing a little on the shorter, or not short, longer side. But it's good. Up that hill, you can really feel the car start to struggle. This car only has still, I think, just about 160 horsepower. So it is slower. You need to focus on keeping momentum up. You don't want to get too bogged down. So I think this is going to be a good series for even racing. Yeah, tires are cold because there's so much in the way of straights that it doesn't really give much of an opportunity for tires to heat up. But yeah, this will be a fun series, and I'm excited. This will be a great passing point, I think, because you're drafting up that long straight, and then you just, it's like a game of chicken to that corner. You're going to either outbrake the driver or outbrake yourself, or you're likely going to outbrake someone. And then this sweeper going under the Speedville sign. That's just totally American. Like fire, Johnsonville Brats. Even though Brats is, isn't that Bratwurst, which is German? Johnsonville sausages, whatever. So here, crack the throttle a bit to get the car pitched in a little. I'd say take this corner in third. I think second is a little too high rev for that tight corner. In other cars, I'll take it in second because you're not as high up in the power band, but I'd say third is fine for that. Come around the corner. But yeah, you can just hear up the hill, it's struggling, searching for speed, trying to squeeze out the power. Yeah, all in all, good track. Should be an interesting challenge to kick off the season. thinks almost this is like the equivalent of Daytona to an extent, where like it's long track, don't worry too much about a complex layout, more about drafting and racing the other car. But when you get this car dialed in, it feels really good. So after this lap, I will switch over to the next track, which I believe is the Okayama Piper circuit. We will make sure. But yeah, it should be very, very exciting. So here, think third. Clip that apex. You can run a little wide out of that corner, not too much though. Barely drag the brake, get the car pitched in. Totally missed that apex though. I think in this next corner though, you can handle it almost flat. Like so. Next corner, I'd say third gear. Fourth would bog it down a little too much. As I said, you want to keep the car in the power band because there is not too much power to work with. And here, pitch it in wide. Try not to apex too early. I might have apexed a little on the earlier side there. Let the car ride itself out to the end of the track. And yeah, try to maximize your speed there. Few different lines to take there, but I'd say there are a few wrong ways, but make sure you do at least decent. Yeah, thanks, Dan. So let's try third gear. Yeah, third gear feels about right there. I would not try taking fourth. Fourth would bog it down way too long, and ahead of this like upcoming straight area, or not straight but mostly flat area, and then this long straight. But yeah, I don't think you can change the gearing at all for this car, which makes sense because it's a spec Miata. I will check the setup screen real quick though. So 240.367 is my PB for this first initial practice. And it felt like I was driving pretty well. Yeah, gearing is fixed, which is nice. One compound tire. Fuel, ABS can be turned on or off. And then you can change some suspension settings. So, this is going to be a very interesting series because with the previous season with the Porsche, you could change a lot of settings, but you can really change the way the car felt due to a setup. In this, it's a lot less setup dependent. It's a lot more driver dependent, which is what I tend to prefer myself. But should be interesting series all in all. So MX-5 at Road America. Surprisingly decent combo, especially because it's a long track. So let's take a look at the SRS screen real quick. And yeah, by the way, random call sign, Nissan Primera, fun series. I might have to jump in on that because the Nissan Primera, fun fact, was my second car that I owned. Except in America, they called it the Infiniti G20. But yeah, I owned an Infiniti G20 from 2011 to 2015. Fun car. One of the best handling front-wheel drive cars I've ever owned in real life. So Okayama Piper is the next configuration for us. But yeah, it was a lot of fun driving that Nissan. It just handled incredibly. Hello, Jupisa. How's it going? So, interesting. Okayama Piper and Drift are the same. So here's the Okayama Piper circuit. We will do some practice there and get a feel for this. So I think people who have driven in the iRacing version of this, I think it will really be familiar. So this is like Okayama was a free track in iRacing, and you had the Piper circuit, which was commonly used in the MX-5 Cup. Later on, they evolved to use, actually, they will alternate between full and Piper circuit, and it's fun. So yeah, this first corner, generally I found third gear, accelerate out, run out there, brake, go into second, drag the brake a little bit, swing out. This is the back straight. We'll go into a left hairpin. Why Piper? I guess that's what Henrique felt like choosing. Well, okay, car washes out a little bit in the final corner. Keep that in mind. You might want to set up your adjustment, but also it could just be because car's tires are really cold right now. Yeah, I need to start being a little more communicated with Henrique because, to be honest, he chose everything in this. He chose the car, he chose the tracks, because I got a little busy with stuff. So, might need to collaborate with him and figure out a little more what I want. Tricky circuit though, I'll say that. Like, it's in some ways deceptively simple, in some ways deceptively difficult. But it is good fun. Always keeps you on your toes. The straight isn't too long, but it's long enough that draft will have an effect. So here, I was using that white line as my braking line. Oops, got a little loose there. Nicholas, let's see. Normally hits 60, drops to 50s, and sometimes 30s. Let's see. First off, I'd ask, do you have the latest driver installed? Because it could be as simple as that. Have you tried restarting the computer? Restarting computer can refresh caches and different elements like that. Refreshes the computer a bit. So yeah, make sure video card driver's up to date. Restart the computer. Make sure Windows is updated. If it's not that, I'd say check your settings. Maybe you have VSync on, and sometimes one thing I've found is if you accidentally have a couple anti-aliasing settings in tandem, that can cause a major hit on frame rate. So if you have FXAA and maybe SMAA running at the same time, so I'd say be a little careful with that. Yeah, Technoclass. If I stream early, sometimes we get some surprised guests. By the way, Dan, if I remember correctly, are you from Canada? Or are you from the States? Have you seen V-Rally game or Dakar? So I am in contact with the developers of Dakar. And it sounds like they are planning on sending me a copy of it to review. So when it comes out, I should be able to review it. Also, on Wednesday, I'm going to the American distributor for F1 2018. So I am actually going to be able to get my hands on F1 2018 this week, and I'll try to make a video for you guys ASAP. Okay, fair enough, Dan. Small world. I live about 2 hours from where Billy Strange lives. So yeah, this is a fun track. It's challenging. Make sure you, again, don't bog down the car too much because it's a mix of high-speed corners and some major low speed. So one of the keys for driving this car, make sure you keep the car in the power band. Make sure that you really have the car set up in a way where you can accelerate out of the corner. So one of the things you hear in racing schools and things like that is, remember, you are not shifting to slow down the car. You're not downshifting into a lower gear so you slow down. You are shifting into a lower gear to make sure you can accelerate out of the corner faster. A lot of the racing mentality that you are looking for is how to get the best drive out of the corner. That is one of the keys to really becoming solid on a racetrack. Focus on the drive off, and other things will shape up around that. For example, when you're learning a new track, one of my pieces of advice is look at the track map and draw the racing line you want to take backwards. Focus on how to get the best drive out of a corner, and then you can focus on how to enter so you can get that drive out. So focus on getting the gas down as soon as possible, coming out of the corner with the most speed, and other things will just shape up around that. Well, little slideways there. Another thing you might want to look at, Nicholas, is open up your computer, see if there is some dust in the graphics card. So that's one thing you might want to consider as well. So yeah, if dust gets in the way of the computer, sometimes you can have reduced performance. All right. So fun track. Hopefully you got an idea on how this layout is, and we will jump into the next track. So hop out. And then next track would be the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. So many tracks. So again, for Brands Hatch Indy, if I remember correctly, it's a Dream Pack 3 DLC. So to race in this series, you will need 2 DLC packs, the Japanese pack and the Dream Pack 3. So keep that in mind if you want to take part in the full championship. So the series is 6 weeks long. Brands Hatch is week 3. And yeah, so keep that in mind. And I think most people nowadays will have a lot of the DLC packs. So yeah, they're cheap and well worth it. Dan's words. Especially if you find them on sale. I think even there's the Ultimate Pack, which I think is available on PC for like 20-25 bucks. Or is the Assetto Corsa Ultimate Edition on Steam? Or is that just the consoles? So Brands Hatch, pretty straightforward. Except this corner always gets me a little off. So ride that corner, ride on that, and then brake. Always a tricky apex. You don't want to enter that corner too hot or else you will end up in the sand. And then this front straight. Turn 1 is always a tricky beast at Brands Hatch, regardless of layout. So there is that brake marker. Ignore that. That brake marker is way too early. I'd say there is that white line. Start braking a little bit after that. One thing I'm going to state is try avoiding using shadows as a braking point. That's one thing I used to do with iRacing back in the day. So iRacing back in the day, I would use shadows as the braking point. But now, sims are getting to be more and more dynamic, which means the shadows will always adjust. So I try to find more permanent points to mark my braking. Kind of fun tip and trick. So you're saying turn 1, go wide. Okay, let's see how this goes. Might be able to stay in 4th gear for turn 1 then. Second gear might be a little too high for that turn. Turn 2, I guess. 3rd gear here, that's pretty obvious. So clip that and let the car ride out to the outside of the track like so. So random call signs, words, keep 4th. Oh, little slideways. Again, I just instinctively go down to 2nd. I'm just so used to driving GT3 cars on this track. So flat out, flat. All right, oh, I cracked it a bit. That was a little sketchy. As I said, that corner always will confuse me a bit, but hey, it's exciting. As long as you don't end up the wrong way or into the wall or into another car, I'd say it can work. I know I was a little inside there. There we go. So yeah, 3rd gear's right for 2nd corner. Yeah, hopefully you guys are learning some on what to do and some on what not to do. Whoa! And also be careful on trail braking. Hey, funny, I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself? We're down to sub 55-second lap times. Oh, slideways. This is not going to be fixed setup. I think some elements are fixed, like how we were talking about gear ratios and stuff, but it is allowing you to be modifying setups. So again, full throttle. Whoa, Nelly. Seems like this car is a little touchy under trail braking, especially into that final corner. Hey Jamie, how's it going? We are previewing the upcoming SRS season. Again, I just instinctively go down to second. And you can tell when I'm in third gear in that second corner, you can gain more speed and I shift to fourth. I'm stuck in third mainly if I stay in second gear in that second corner. Gabriel, I'd say there are performance enhancements on the PC version due to utilizing more CPU and optimizations. But I'd say the biggest difference is the ability to have third-party mods, and that is a big thing. Also, you can totally customize user interface and just have different elements. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Also, VR support. I don't know if Assetto Corsa on the PS4 supports the PSVR, but this supports Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and other open VR headsets. Looks like flat spotted our right rear a bit, according to our tire app. So one more lap, and then we will go to the next circuit, which I think is the one I know the least. I need to get away from that shifting down to second. Christian, this is the official Kunos car. Okay, I'm gonna do one more lap. I just need to make sure I shift into third and not second for this corner. But this is such a fun combo. It really is. Little understeer in the middle of the corner. Gabriel, I prefer Assetto Corsa by far, personally. Honestly, though, I have not driven the PlayStation 4 version of Assetto Corsa. Yeah, this was a good lap. One-tenth off my PB, though. But yeah, 54 seconds. Decent lap for me. My guess is with how good the drivers are in my championships, we're going to see lap times in the 52s. Maybe 51s, I bet. Generally, they're about 2 to 3 seconds faster than me from what I've seen. So, Brands Hatch, good track. Next in the roster is Paul Ricard World Touring Car Championship layout. So, go to track. And I do not know this circuit at all. I don't think I've even ever driven on this layout of Paul Ricard. So, it is WTCC. So, this is going to be totally new for me. Jamie, it is going to start Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So, same as any other season. So, yeah, Gabriel, I'll have to try it sometime. I I want to do a comparison between the console and the PC version. So, again, this, I think to learn, I'm also going to pull up the track map. So we have the track map. I know, random call sign, I know. So this is the pit road. Looks like we have a tight right-hand corner first. So, tight corner. And then this. This is where I think it'll start to get a little confusing because there are so many branching off roads. So here, swing out. I wish there were better indicators on what path to take, because I'm already confused half a lap in. This is going to be a wide sweeper, it looks like. Yeah, take that totally flat out. Then this corner seems oddly reminiscent of China. Very wide. This is Paul Ricard, correct, Dan. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about this track, to be honest. Just feels very, very unusual. But yeah, I think as we learn, this track should be interesting. I'll see it through this season. I'm not going to ask to have this race changed, but it should be interesting. So, I'm going to try braking at the 100 marker. Turn in, drive out, and then it's the right turn here. Then it's a left. Wait, turned left too early. As mentioned, this is going to be confusing. How the heck did F1 race here? Did they make sure they blocked off all the other exits or anything? Because, yeah, it seems would have been very confusing for F1. So again, ease in, ease in. Drag the brake a bit. I'm hugging the corner a little too much, I think. Didn't give me as good a drive off as I should have gotten. There we go. So this will be a very unusual track. I bet there are people who know these layouts like the back of their hand. I don't know yet. So that's a lap, roughly, even though we are invalidated because we took a wrong corner. But I think for some people this is going to be hell. So brake a little later. We had the ability to, which is nice. So here. Whoa! Rest in peace. Cone? So 50 marker. There we go. So I'm wondering if for the race I should just have the track map on. That'll make it easier so I remember everything. But at least we have a few weeks to dial this in, because this isn't until week 4. But yeah, this looks to be a decent layout. Whoa. Ah. Car park racing. That'd be interesting. That's called autocross, though. That's called autocross, Victor. I keep on sliding there. So this will be interesting, I think. I don't know if it'll be in a good way or a bad way yet, but we'll figure it out. But I'm a little fed up with this track right now, so let's jump to the next one. So by the way, I'm thinking it's been a little while since I've done some racing with subscribers, so I think after this stream, I'm going to grab some breakfast, and I think I need to move my pedals back a bit. I've been a little, it feels like, I'm not sure if it's my shoes, but it just feels like a little further back than they should be, so I'll move my pedals back, and then I think I'll do a Project Cars 2 stream. Project Cars 2 Racing with Subs. I think that'd be fun. So next up, Silverstone International. So S National International. So we will do some driving. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't gotten any taller, but it just feels like a little further back. Oh, Victor. It would be fun to have you in the series. In the future, I'll try doing some sort of championship that is set at a time that might try to allow for as many people possible. It's tricky though, because I'm in California, so it is a little prohibitive for people in my area if I make a series that tries to allow as many people from Europe or Asia or even Australia to join in. It's tricky finding that balance. So Silverstone International is definitely one of the more known circuits, especially with the iconic corners and everything. So yeah, this is 4th gear corner, feels about right. Then I'm thinking for here, I'm gonna try 3rd gear. Might bog down, but no, it stays in the power band pretty well. This is definitely going to be one of the faster circuits because just thinking Okayama, Brands Hatch, those are going to be slower, I think. And then Paul Ricard is going to be medium to high speed. This is going to have a lot of high speed corners. We took that turn 1 a little too conservatively, I think. So yeah, it's going to be a very fast circuit, I think. Just with the way that Silverstone is laid out. So hit that curb. Maybe not that hard. Getting a good drive off in this corner is key. Because look how long the straight is. If you botch that previous corner, you're going to be in trouble. Could it be that in ACC the axles or diffuser take damage? That'd be something I would love to see, but unfortunately, I find it unlikely. I would love to see the damage engine just greatly enhanced and have parts like that simulated, but I don't know. Do sim racing developers have enough faith in us that we would be able to do something like that, where we could have such a hypersensitive damage engine, and that could lead to us like being more accountable as drivers? I don't know. But yeah, that's how we should take the first corner. Almost flat. I cracked it a little bit to get some decent turn in. So yeah, that's how we should take that corner. Third gear, get close to the curb, don't hit it. Hitting it will unsettle the car. Early on the throttle. Maybe a little too early. We broke the rear end out a bit. But you can see, in comparison to our previous lap, 2-second advantage. Brake at the start of the curb. Feel the car start to step out a bit. Wreckfest made into a pro sim racing title. Could be interesting, would be a challenge though, because the damage engine takes up quite a bit of CPU usage. Just look at how CPU intensive a title like BeamNG Drive was at first. And then with that, it gets a little tricky. But I'd love to see a very sensitive, very realistic damage engine. That's one of the things I'm a major advocate for. I'd love to see a very authentic damage engine, because damage is naturally a part of racing. Damage is something that drivers have to deal with and encounter. And that's something that we as sim racers should do. We should be held accountable for our driving. If I hit a curb too hard, I should have the chance of damaging my suspension. Whether that'll happen in this next generation or a future generation of sim racing titles, we'll see. And speaking of see, I will see you later, random call sign. You have a good day. Yeah, there we go. Decent balance of this car. Thank you, John Jurassic, for subscribing. I'm just thinking like a dinosaur now with a name tag that says, "Hi, my name is John," on it. That's what's popping in my head right now. So yeah, gotta be careful hitting that curb. Or as Gamer Muscle would say, hitting the sausage too hard. Yeah, Victor, the thing is, I enjoy Wreckfest's damage engine, and their physics engine too. Their damage engine is great. It really does keep you accountable in some ways. You have to preserve your car over the course of a longer race. And the physics engine is believable. That's one of the big things. Their physics engine is believable. Reminds me a lot of Dirt 2 in a positive way, where it communicates well with the force feedback. It communicates what the car is doing well. You get a good idea on the car and how it's handling. And that's basically all you can really ask for. So get a little aggressive turn 1. Enter in this corner. Brake a little bit after the start of the curb. A little aggressive there. Make sure you get a good drive off in this corner again, because long straight, That's where laps are made or lost. Or positions gained or lost, I should say. And then also consider draft will take effect. And keep in mind that this is a tricky corner. We are likely going to see some passing into this corner. And then setups into passing for this next chicane area. This should make for an exciting race. So yeah, that's a few laps around Silverstone. Looks like I'm doing sub 120 lap times. I wouldn't be surprised to see some people going down into the 115s based on skill level and stuff. That's generally what I see. Take a couple seconds off my time, and that's a good lap. And then last, but certainly not least, will be the Red Bull Ring National Circuit. It's kind of funny. The first half of this lap reminds me a little bit of Okayama, actually. And then the second half reminds me of the tail end of Hockenheim. So, interesting blend of tracks together, I guess. So yeah, this will be the final track for this season. Should be fun. Red Bull Ring is one of my favorite European tracks. So it'll be interesting to see how this race turns out. So we're outside of turn 1 right now. And then, boom, we have this sort of sweeping 180-degree corner. Hold the car flat through here, I think. And then swing out. Full throttle. I'm guessing 4th gear for this corner. Make sure you don't run wide like I just did, or else your lap will be invalidated and you might get penalized, according to Assetto Corsa system. So let's get some heat into these tires. One thing that's nice, at least, is at the start of sim racing system events, you do have tire blankets on. So the tires will start in the race preheated. And then you can have decent handling to start off. So 3rd gear, swing the car in, lift a bit, get the car to turn in more because this corner tightens up big time. Flat out, you can handle. Car will get a little squirrely, it appears. And then again, I'm braking around where that line is or at the 50 marker. Might be able to brake a little later. Might try that in 4th gear next lap. So it looks like it's going to be about a 103 lap. Yes, it is. So 3rd gear. Almost bogged down. Almost, but it's just enough in the power band to really accelerate out. Keep in mind that this straight is a little uphill, so that's why the car might also get a little bogged. So again, flat out, swing out to the outside of the track. I feel like tire and R factor behave round by round. What do you mean by that? Literally, I was a little early on the brake there. It worked out okay though. I think fourth gear would bog down in the final corner, I think fourth gear might be a little too high for that final corner. Third gear, at least you stay in the power band. So again, swing in, hard on the throttle out. Make sure you get a good exit because this is slightly uphill, which means momentum and RPM is key. Third gear. Maybe try a late apex also. Might have swung out a little too much, and that caused us to miss our apex there, but as long as we get that momentum is key with this car. We're still about 3.5 tenths up this lap. So again, brake. Get the drive off. Get as much momentum out of the corner as possible. Hard on the throttle. Long straight. Get as much speed out of the corner as possible. And we are going to be doing about a 101 lap time now. Boom. So 6.5 tenths up. This is going to be a fun track. It looks like it is going to be more in kind of draft dependent and very momentum based. The person who can keep their speed up through the corners and out of the corners especially, I think that's who's going to end up on top. So all in all, let's talk about this series. Series kicks off this Wednesday. I think it's going to be a very, very fun series with especially like gear ratios being locked and some other elements. It is going to really come down to driving skill, I think personally more so than this Porsche Cup. I think there's going to be some very tight racing that's going to be very competitive. It's going to be very fun. This car handles great, very neutral handling. That's one of the nicest parts about this car. It is very neutral. It is going to respond quickly to what you are doing, but at the same time, it's not overly snappy. This car is very, very respondent based on your input. If you drive it too hard, you're going to spin or get yourself in trouble. If you are smooth with your inputs, if you are very precise, if you are like just a smooth driver, I think you are really going to enjoy this car. So yeah, that's a quick preview of my upcoming championship kicking off this Wednesday. If you haven't joined Sim Racing System already, go to www.simracingsystem.com or click the link below in the description, and I hope to see you on Wednesday. But for now, I'm gonna get some breakfast, and yeah, hopefully I'll have another live stream coming up in an hour or a couple hours or so. But until then, I'm William Marsh for the Sim Racing Paddock, and you have a great rest of your day.